Okay, Sarah, this is Professor Brown Cedarberg, and I thought it'd be most efficient for me to record a video of my review of your code. And it looks like you've got a lot of the pieces and a start on the logic, but it's just the execution isn't as a cohesive whole. And I'm going to make some pretty big changes in your code. So I see that you have a character here for the user choice, an int for the computer choice, and then you ask the user to enter in a value and you're storing it as a user choice. It looks like here you're trying to generate a random number so you can compare the user choice and the computer choice, but that's not a valid line, and this isn't a valid line. You can't have a variable that has a number, and this doesn't mean anything. Um, so we're going to kind of get rid of those. I think you'll follow we'll make it simpler. And then you're trying to use a switch, which really isn't the right selection. This statement right here really says if the user choice is a 0 or a 7, you print out that. And I don't think that's the logic that you want to be using. So let's go, but you've got the start. You've got all these questions, which we'll still use those, or these print statements. So let's come back up here, and you're getting in from the user a variable of type char, and we're good with that. But what I'd like to do is, instead of having the computer choice be an int, I'm sorry, I'm going to also make it a char, and I'm going to have another int that I'll just call randnum, all right? And so when we come down here, this line, the user should be entering in a lowercase number. If you wanted to make sure that they gave you a lowercase number, you could execute this line. You could say user choice is equal to what's in the user choice, making it a lowercase letter. But I really don't think you need that. These I don't think are needed, so let's get rid of those. Here we're going to generate a random number, but this next int will give you a number 0, 1, 2, 3, only 4 numbers, and you need 5. So we're going to change that to a 5, and we're going to put that into the space called randnum. So now you have a variable called randnum that's a number 0, 1, 2, 3, or 4. And so what we could do is we'll have a series of if statements. And that is, if the randnum is equal to 0, what we'll do is we'll make this variable computer choice equal to an R, to rock, okay? So that will go right here. So computer choice, we'll just indent that, will be assigned the value of an R, the character R, okay? Then we can have an else, and we can say if the randnum is equal to 1, then we'll make the computer choice equal to another value, we'll make it equal to P. And so you continue through with these if-elses, giving a value either R, P, S, L, or K to computer choice. We don't need this. So now what you can do is, instead of using a switch statement, you can have if statements. And the if will be like this. If the, let's see, if the user choice is equal to, let's make it R, and the computer choice, and we call it comp choice, is equal to, let's say, S, then you will print out the appropriate, right? So here, we print out the appropriate message. and it would say, you chose rock, computer chose scissors, rock crushes scissors, you lose. Then you'd have another else statement, and that would have an if after it, so we'd have another if statement there. And it would be if, let's see, you chose rock and the computer chose lizard, then we'll print out this statement. So you can really use a lot of the code that you already have right down it here, but you want to put it into if statements. Okay? Now the very first if statement you probably should have would be if the two are equal, you say that you have a tie. So if the user choice is equal to the computer choice, then we'll print out that you have a tie. But if you don't have a tie, you have to go through all the other possibilities. And you have most of that code already done. All right? So what you're going to do is, I'll send you this code and I hope this video, and finish off these if-elses here, and you want to finish off the if-elses that are right up in here. So I'm going to put some, finish this, and I'll say finish this. And that should get you going. So here, this code, you're going to get rid of all this code, but you're going to replace it with these if statements. And I think you'll have 15 if statements. Remember, you need to have this one that does test to see if you have a tie. So if you make those changes and resubmit, I think this one will be done. All right. Thanks.